breaking mental prison loops right. Here's something that'll blow your mind. Every single morning, you wake up and step straight back into the exact same mental prison you built yesterday. And the day before that, and the year before that. It's absolutely mental when you think about it, isn't it? Picture this. You're literally recycling the same worries, the same bloody excuses, the same limiting thoughts that have been running your life like some broken record player stuck on repeat. And here's the kicker. You don't even realize you're doing it. One of the most brilliant minds in personal development once said something that should shake you to your core. The only real prison that exists is the one we construct inside our own heads. But here's what's absolutely incredible. The moment you spot these patterns, the very second you recognize them for what they are, you've got the power to smash them to pieces forever. And I mean forever. No more being trapped. No more feeling stuck. No more wondering why your life feels like Groundhog Day. So stick with me through this entire journey, because what you're about to discover will give you the keys to genuine freedom, crystal clear clarity, and finally the chance to step into that life you've always known deep down you were meant to live. Now, imagine you're stood on a beach in Maui, watching the most incredible sight unfold before your eyes. The ocean's absolutely massive, with waves towering 8, maybe 10 feet high, crashing down with such power it reminds you just how small we really are in this vast universe. It's humbling, isn't it? But there's something magical happening beneath those waves. Whales are singing to each other, their haunting melodies echoing through the water like nature's own symphony. This is where our story begins, with someone who understood these deeper currents of life better than most. The phone rang, cutting through the morning calm. On the other end was Kevin, calling from Atlanta, his voice carrying that familiar weight of someone wrestling with their deepest fears. Morning, came the warm greeting. I've got to say, I'm grateful for these challenges in my life. Are you really, though? The question hit straight to the heart of it. Most of us aren't. Are we? We spend our time wishing the difficult bits would just disappear. But actually, we desperately need them. Kevin took a breath. Well, besides being out of work and dealing with all the financial stress that brings, there's something else eating away at me. Ever since I was a kid, I've been obsessed with filmmaking. Won loads of awards in school, thought I was heading somewhere with it. Then I just stopped. Gave it all up, completely, and now it haunts me more than ever. Here's where it gets interesting. Kevin wasn't just talking about a career change. He was describing something much deeper. He was talking about abandoning his soul's calling, and the price we pay when we ignore that inner voice. Right, let's talk about willingness then, came the response. Not the sort of willingness where you half-heartedly agree to something. I am talking about the kind of willingness that makes you ask yourself, what am I actually prepared to do to turn my future dreams into present reality? The question hung in the air like a challenge. What's on your unwillingness list, Kevin? Because we all have one, don't we? All those things we tell ourselves we absolutely cannot or will not do. You're in Atlanta.
Yeah.
So if pursuing your filmmaking dream meant packing up everything, leaving your comfort zone, uprooting your entire life, and moving to Los Angeles, would you do it? Kevin's hesitation spoke volumes. Yeah, I see what you mean. Exactly. And here's the thing, when I was building my career, when I was working on projects that mattered to me, I didn't have anything on my unwillingness list. Nothing. I walked away from a guaranteed job, a tenured position at a major university that would have set me up for life. I got in my car and drove across the entire country for 2 years, paying my own way, sleeping rough sometimes, sneaking into hotel lobbies to use their bathrooms, because I was willing to do whatever it took. This is where most people get it wrong. They think success means playing it safe, keeping their options open, having a backup plan. But actual breakthrough happens when you burn the bridges behind you. Whatever's on your unwillingness list, the voice continued, eventually becomes your excuse factory. Oh, I can't do that because I'm too old, or I haven't got the right connections, or I don't have enough money. Sound familiar? Kevin laughed nervously. Yeah, I've got plenty of those excuses. Tell me about them. Well, I moved to LA when I was 23, right after winning what was basically a Student Academy Award. I was writing, doing loads of creative work, then took this job with a production company back in Atlanta. But the guy running it was, well, Let's just say he was involved in some dodgy business. The whole company collapsed, and I had to find stable work, raise a family. You know how it goes. But now, suddenly, all those distractions are gone. The job's disappeared. The responsibilities have shifted. Do you see what's happening here? It's like the universe has cleared your plate completely. All the excuses you've been using for years, they've just evaporated. There was a long pause. You could almost hear Kevin's mind working. So what's really holding you back then? Strip away all the practical concerns, all the logical reasons. And what are you left with? Fear, Kevin admitted quietly. Fear of success, fear of failure, fear that I'm not talented enough, fear that the right people won't materialize, fear that I don't have what it takes. Now we're getting somewhere. This is the real conversation, isn't it? Not the surface level stuff about money or connections or timing. It's about the stories we tell ourselves, the beliefs that keep us small, right? So let's examine those fears one by one. Take the belief that you don't have enough talent. Can you be absolutely 100% certain that's true? Not just worried about it, not just concerned, but completely certain. Well, no, I suppose I can't be certain. And the fear that you won't find the right people to work with. Can you be completely sure that's going to happen? No, not really. See what's happening here? You're letting thoughts that you can't even prove are true run your entire life. You're making major life decisions based on stories your mind is making up. This is the breakthrough moment, when you realize that most of your limiting beliefs are just unexamined thoughts, not actual facts. Everything changes. Here's what I want you to do. After this conversation ends, I want you to take one single action that moves you toward filmmaking. Just one. Maybe that's dusting off your old equipment. Maybe it's writing down an idea for a script. Maybe it's making one phone call to someone in the industry. Doesn't matter how small it seems. And then what? Then you hold on to the vision of yourself as a filmmaker. Not as someone who used to make films. Not as someone who might make films someday, as someone who is a filmmaker right now. Because if you've been drawn to this since childhood, if you won awards for it as a young man, this isn't some random hobby. This is your dharma. This is what you came here to do. Kevin's voice brightened. You know what's funny? Every time I watch a film, I'm constantly thinking about how I would have shot it differently, what I would have changed. Of course, you do. And I bet when you dream at night, your dreams are structured like films, aren't they? Dramatic angles, interesting lighting, compelling storylines. Yeah, actually they are. How did you know? Because this is who you are, mate. Now listen carefully. I want you to use your imagination for something powerful. Close your eyes and picture yourself on a film set, directing a project you're passionate about, really, say Italiano. Feel what it's like to be completely in your element, doing exactly what you were born to do. How does that feel in your body? There's this swelling right in the center of my chest, like everything's clicking into place. Perfect. That feeling, that sensation in your chest, that's your truth speaking to you. Your subconscious mind believes whatever you feel most strongly. So here's what you're going to do. Every night, just before you fall asleep, spend 5 minutes recreating that feeling. Don't think about the practical steps. Don't worry about the how. Just connect with that sensation of being exactly where you belong. And that will help. Your subconscious doesn't know the difference between what's actually happening and what you're vividly imagining. When you consistently feel the emotion of your goal achieved, you start to activate the circumstances that will make it real. It's not magic, it's how your mind works. The conversation was transforming before our eyes. Kevin had gone from talking about his limitations to connecting with his deepest calling. This is what happens when you stop focusing on what's wrong and start tuning into what's possible. But Kevin's story was just the beginning. Across the country, in Boone Beach, Florida, another person was grappling with similar challenges, but from a completely different angle. Debbie's voice came through the phone with a mixture of hope and uncertainty. I'm out of work at the moment, actively looking for a new position, and I'm trying to stay present, not get overwhelmed by everything. But it's hard. How do you manage that when you're unemployed and the pressure's mounting? Here's what's fascinating about Debbie's situation. She was actually asking the wrong question entirely. But sometimes, the wrong question leads to the right breakthrough. You know what I've been thinking about a lot lately? There are millions of people in your exact situation right now. And yes, I understand there are bills to pay and practical realities to deal with. But what if this isn't actually a crisis? What if it's the biggest opportunity you've had in years? Debbie paused. How do you mean? Well, sometimes life needs to clear your plate completely before you can see what's really possible. You mentioned you've been doing volunteering work at the beach, taking art classes. Tell me about that painting class. Oh my God, it was incredible. Debbie's voice lit up immediately. I took an acrylic painting workshop last week, and I was absolutely amazed at what I created. It was my first time ever picking up a paintbrush, and somehow I painted this gorgeous tropical paradise with birds of paradise. I honestly didn't know what I was doing, but it came out beautiful. Now we're talking. Do you hear the shift in her energy? The moment she started talking about something that genuinely excited her, everything changed. Did you hear what you just said? You said you didn't know what you were doing, but it came out beautiful. That's profound. Debbie, when something flows through you like that, when you create something beautiful without knowing how, you're connecting to something much bigger than your conscious mind. It felt different. Like I wasn't really doing it myself. Exactly. That's enthusiasm in its truest sense. A divine working through you, and here's what most people miss. Everyone's out there competing for the same traditional jobs, sending out hundreds of CVs, queuing up with 400 other people for basic positions. But you've just discovered something that could generate income in a completely different way. This is where the conversation took an unexpected turn. Instead of helping Debbie find a job, we were about to explore something much more interesting. I lived most of my early adult life dependent on a paycheck, came the explanation. Worked for other people, followed their rules, dressed how they wanted me to dress, showed up when they said to show up. And you know what I realized? You're never completely free when you're working for someone else. There's always that element of having to do things their way. But how do you make that transition? How do you go from needing that security to creating your own path? You start by changing how you see opportunities. They're everywhere. Debbie, everywhere. But we get so locked into thinking the only way to earn money is through traditional employment that we miss them completely. Give me an example, right? Let's say I lost everything tomorrow and had to start over. I might get a job at McDonald's making minimum wage, just to cover immediate expenses. But my vision wouldn't stop there. I'd be thinking about owning the franchise. I'd be getting the feeling of what it's like to be the owner, while I am still flipping burgers. I'd be constantly looking for ways to improve operations, to bring more value, to expand beyond just doing the basic job. This is you on about being unrealistic. It is about maintaining a bigger vision while you handle present circumstances. When I was a school counselor, I set up a driver education business on the side. When I was teaching at university, I started running evening lecture series. Within 2 years, I had 1,200 people showing up every Monday night. There are always opportunities to create something beyond just the basic job. But what about my painting? Could that actually become something? Why wouldn't it? There are people right now who would love to have original artwork in their homes. There are galleries looking for new artists. There are online platforms where you can sell directly to buyers. The question is, and whether the opportunity exists. It is. Whether you're willing to explore it. Debbie's energy had completely shifted. She'd called about finding a job and ended up discovering a completely different path forward. I can't wait to see what you create next, came the encouragement. And remember, you're not going to starve. You're not going to be homeless. You have skills, you have creativity, and now you have a new way of seeing possibilities. The conversation was about to end, but something beautiful had happened. Debbie had stopped seeing herself as unemployed and started seeing herself as an emerging artist. That shift in identity, that's where transformation begins. But the day was far from over. All the way in Colorado, Sue was wrestling with a different kind of challenge, one that many of us know all too well. I'm living my dream come true right now. Just being able to speak with you, Sue began, her voice carrying both excitement and nervousness. Several years ago, I stepped away from my current profession, to pursue something I was really passionate about. But I got scared when things didn't work out exactly as I'd planned. So I retreated back to what was familiar and safe. Here we go again. Another person standing at the edge of their authentic life, held back by the same force that stops most of us. Fear. And now you're feeling that pull again. Yes, exactly. And after watching your film, The Shift, I know I need to move past this fear. But how do you know when that shift is really happening? How do you push through? Sue was asking one of the most important questions anyone can ask. How do you distinguish between genuine intuition and wishful thinking? How do you know when it's time to take the leap? Sue, you're living in your comfort zone right now, aren't you? Yes, absolutely. And this profession you're in, it pays the bills. You're good at it. You could probably do it for the rest of your career without any major problems, but it doesn't set your soul on fire, does it? No, it doesn't. Right? So let's cut straight to the heart of this. What is your soul calling you to do? Forget about the practical concerns for a moment. Forget about the money. Forget about what other people think. Forget about whether it makes sense. What does your deepest self know you're here to do? There was a long pause. This is always the moment of truth, when someone has to stop making excuses and face their authentic calling. I love talking to people, helping them see new possibilities. I do some writing, but mostly just fiction as a kind of escape. A few years ago, when I stepped out of my comfort zone, I was doing motivational seminars in my town. People seemed to really respond to what I was sharing. And how did that feel? Amazing, like I was finally being myself. Now we were getting somewhere. Sue knew exactly what she was called to do. She'd already done it before. The only thing stopping her was fear. Sue, I want you to think back to when you were a little girl. What was it that really excited you, that made you feel like you were completely in your element? Well, I loved ice skating, but looking back, that was probably more about dealing with family stuff. But I've always been social, always loved connecting with people, and when you would see people speaking, teaching, entertaining, did something click inside you? Yes, absolutely. I remember watching comedians and thinking how wonderful it was that they could make people laugh, make them feel better about life. This is the golden thread, that spark of recognition we feel when we see someone doing what we know we're meant to do. Sue, can you picture yourself in front of an audience? Really see it? You're up there sharing something meaningful, making a difference in people's lives, being completely authentic. Yes, I can see it clearly. How does that feel in your body? Like coming home, like everything makes sense. And Teriitis, that feeling of alignment, of being exactly where you belong. Your body never lies about these things, right? So here's what you're going to do. You're going to start surrounding yourself with that world. You mentioned you go to a spiritual center. I want you volunteering at every event they have. I want you attending workshops, connecting with speakers, immersing yourself in that environment. And then you start small. Maybe you offer to give a short talk at your center. Maybe you start a monthly discussion group. The key is to begin moving in that direction, even if it's just baby steps. Sue's transformation was happening in real time. You could hear the shift from fear-based thinking to possibility-based thinking. And Sue, I want you to use your imagination every night before you sleep. Picture yourself doing this work, feeling that sense of coming home. Your subconscious mind can't tell the difference between what's real and what's vividly imagined. When you consistently feel the emotion of your goal achieved, you start to become that person. The call was ending, but Sue was just beginning. She'd remembered who she really was underneath all the fear and conditioning. But our journey wasn't finished. Across the ocean in the Netherlands, someone else was grappling with the same fundamental question that seems to haunt so many of us. Roger's voice came through with that mixture of excitement and nervousness that signals someone standing at the threshold of change. I can't believe I actually got through, he said with amazement. You held on, you were determined, and it happened. That's usually how these things work, right? So my situation is similar to some of the other callers. I really want to follow my heart and work with children. I'm trying to figure out how to make it happen, and there's still this underlying fear, but I know it's the right path for me. Here's what's beautiful about Roger's call. He wasn't asking whether working with children was right for him. He already knew it was. He was asking how to trust himself enough to follow through. Roger, if I asked you right now to point to yourself, Where would you point? To my chest, I suppose. Exactly. Not to your head, but to your heart. 99 out of 100 people point to their heart when asked to indicate themselves, and yet we let our heads, all the fears, the logic, the conditioning, override what our hearts know to be true. This is one of the most profound disconnects in modern life. We know where our true self resides, but we've been trained to ignore it. Working with children, that's such a natural place to start. You could begin volunteering tomorrow. Children's charities, after-school programs, youth centers. They're always looking for people who genuinely care. And you think that could lead somewhere? Roger, opportunities appear when you start moving toward what you love. My daughter was running a business she wasn't passionate about, but when someone asked her to do some volunteer work with kids, it opened up a whole new career path. Now she's got a full-time position doing exactly what lights her up. The conversation was brief, but the message was crystal clear. Roger didn't need permission to follow his heart. He just needed encouragement to trust it. As these conversations unfolded, a pattern became clear. Whether it was Kevin rediscovering his calling as a filmmaker, Debbie finding her artistic gifts, Sue remembering her love of inspiring others, or Roger wanting to work with children, they were all facing the same fundamental challenge. They knew what they were meant to do, but fear was keeping them stuck in lives that felt smaller than their true potential. And perhaps that's where you find yourself right now. Perhaps you're listening to these stories and recognizing something familiar that pulled toward something more authentic, more aligned, more true to who you really are. The question isn't whether you have a calling, you do. The question is whether you're willing to trust it enough to take the next step. Your time is coming. Keep believing. Keep fighting. Don't just watch. Go out and prove them wrong. Thank you for being part of the journey. If you liked it, please like, comment, and subscribe. Bye.